Hey, what's going on, everybody? We're just going to get into it today, and today's video is entitled Modern Day Slavery. And hopefully just trying to keep it short. It's that what I think the biggest issue is that no one is talking about, that links a lot of the issues we're going through today, is the United States economy and how it runs in general and in mass. And I think we can agree historically, if we look, that the United States economy has never ever been able to run successfully without exploiting labor in some way. Never. And it still can't. You know what I'm saying? From slavery and indentured servants and bringing Asians over and, enslaving Native Americans. There's just been a constant barrage of enslavement for the remedial labor that is necessary to keep this economy going. And the original sin of slavery, which is, of course, it was free labor, but the economies of scale did not change, right? After slavery ended, the businesses weren't just like, oh, we're going to now pay fair wages to everybody, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, those businesses were still trying to operate those inflated profit margins, right? So they're trying to figure out how they can still make money without completely exploiting people with slavery. So then they just found new ways to exploit labor and make sure they paid them the least and had the worst amount of rights and everything of that nature. And that has not changed. Just the demographic has changed. The laws have gotten a little bit more strict in the fact that you can't enslave people, even though there is slavery going on today. If you want to talk about the prison labor system, which ridiculously is allowed, right? We just have lots of carve-outs where we're just somehow allowing this to happen. And that is the original sin. The problem is the United States economy cannot function without exploiting somebody. That is the issue. And what we do in every generation is blame the person that's being exploited. Look it up. Like, people were blaming the slaves, blaming the indigenous people, blaming the Asians coming over here, even though the companies brought them here or forced them to work. They were somehow still labeled as enemies and as the reason why that, poor white people are suffering. And it's just because it's a lot easier just to blame the black or brown person, right? Rather than blaming your kinfolk that are literally setting this whole system up and are predicating it on it. The issue is we don't have good, fair wages in this country. That's the issue. And that there's access to this labor. If there were no jobs, and if you had to pay illegal migrants the same amount of money that you paid citizens, we wouldn't have an issue here. We wouldn't have an issue here. And it just baffles me how we go on and on and on about all these people here. They're so illegal. They're illegals. They're just illegals. But they're being begged to be here. They add to our economy. And people are realizing hey, our farms, our hospitality industry are going to be destroyed if they leave. And we still blame them. And now MAGA people all of a sudden through the hate and vitriol, they've listened to some of the business owners hey, wait, maybe we need to make some special carve-outs. But no, that is not the solution. So you're just going to create legal slavery, legal exploitation, so these illegal workers can somehow come into the country and be exploited by these companies who are cheating out on taxes, who are cheating out on paying fair wages, who are inflating their profit margins. But these people are not talked about at all. You know what I'm saying? I was no one speaks about how business is literally robbing the American public blind, and how a lot of these businesses are not paying services. And so these very workers have to go depend on the government for a lot of the government services. Right? You know what I'm saying? So it literally is a problem that creates itself. And the original sin is the notion that America has never atoned for the fact that it set up its economy and economic systems to exploit people. And there's no way to fix that until you have a massive reformation process of the employment system, ensuring that fair wages are for everyone and holding the companies liable should they hire people in that space. I guarantee you, if you told every employer that was hiring undocumented workers that they had to pay $100,000 per employee, it would stop overnight. It would stop overnight. If they said, hey, any undocumented worker, you got to pay them $15 an hour, it would stop overnight. But instead, We choose to blame the people that are suffering. We choose to blame the people that are being exploited, that are fleeing, that are just trying to make a way for themselves, who have done the same pathways to the country that many people that are here do. Like even our Secretary of State, his grandfather was an illegal alien. You know what I'm saying? According to him, him and his whole family should be deported, right? But we all know that's not the case. We all know that undocumented migrants pay taxes and actually are additive to the economy. But it's just much easier to just say all those black and brown people, all those desperate poor people, they're the ones taking your jobs. They're the ones taking our benefits. They're the ones doing all this shit, when it couldn't be anything further from the truth. And we actually put ourselves in greater danger as a result. So let's just get into it. United States business has and will continue to be the problem. And until we wake up, we are always going to be exploited by this enemy that is not our enemy, that actually we need to make our economy run. Until the next time.